All right, thanks to everybody who read. I love you all. Tonight I've asked Heather to come out and speak. She is a part of H&I. She has double-digit more clean time than I have clean time. And so I don't know much about her or her recovery, but I do know, I don't know, she's very loving, like she gives. I just believe in her, and yet I don't even know. I don't even know. And so sometimes it's like that in the rooms. So without further ado, Heather.
Hi, my name's Heather. I'm an addict.
Hi, Heather.
And I'm a little nervous. I haven't done this in a long time. My clean date is August 15th, 2006. So I have 18 years clean. It took me a while to stick around and get that clean time, though. Like, I was in and out for quite a while before I stuck around. So I started using when I was 13 or 14. Can't really remember. I don't remember a lot of my past. I don't know if it's because of the drugs that I did or my past was just jacked enough that I don't want to remember it. But I don't remember a lot of my childhood. I don't remember a lot of my past. When I was using, I don't remember, there's things that I remember that I'm not sure if it was really happening or if it was something that I just remember because I went to that psychosis. So I started at 13 or 14, and drugs were my solution. They were the fix to my problem, which was me, right? I felt comfortable when I was using drugs for the first time in my life. I felt like I belonged with people, and I felt like I was okay for the first time when I started using drugs. And so I used for a long time, and I just remember, like, I had this attitude of, well, I'm young, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I'm not hurting anybody but myself, that bullshit lie. So I don't care what y'all think, this is what I'm going to do. But I didn't have a problem. I could stop anytime I wanted to. Until I got pregnant with my third child. And I couldn't stop using while I was pregnant. That was the first time that I thought that I might have a problem. Right? Because if anything was going to make me stop, it should have been that baby. I did not know that there was help. I was scared to tell the doctor. I was afraid they would lock me up and take away my kids. So I just quit going to the doctor. I didn't go to the doctor. I went into labor and rode the bus to the freaking hospital because that's where I was at. Like, my life was not, I thought it was all peachy keen, but it wasn't. They had me pee in a cup as soon as I walked in that hospital. They knew, right? So I had the baby, we made it home from the hospital, and I thought everything's fine, right? Like, we made it home, they didn't catch us, everything's good. They came and took him when he was 7 days old. And I had a psychotic break. I started talking to people that weren't there. I was waking up in the night hearing him crying. He wasn't there. And that's when I finally asked for help. Because my social worker, I said, I can't stop using drugs. I need help. So I went to a place like this. It was a 28-day program. That's where I was introduced to Narcotics Anonymous. That's why I love to do this. And I have been involved in H&I for most of my recovery. Because it's how I heard about Narcotics Anonymous, and Narcotics Anonymous saved my life. So if I can share the message or let other people know that we exist, if I can just help one person, then that would be enough. Because so many people have helped me. It was a 28-day program. I think I stayed clean for 30 days. Because I got out, went back home, and went right back to using. So I have 3 kids. My oldest had gone to live with his father. My middle son went to my dad while I was in rehab because his dad was not in the picture, and whatever. And my youngest, they took. So then when I got out, my middle one came back to me, but then they decided that they were going to take him from me too. So they took him, so I didn't have any of my kids, and I did everything that I needed to do. I did an outpatient program for a while. I did get clean again. I did an outpatient program. I got everything I needed to do to get my kids back. Got the job, got the car, got the place to live, you know, everything that they were asking of me to get my kids back. And my kids came home, and they were fucking miserable. And like, it was supposed to be this happy, joyous reunion, you know, I got my kids back and we're all good, and it wasn't like that. And they didn't know me. The youngest was a year old. He didn't know me because they took him when he was born, right? My middle son just was miserable. And so I sat on it for, I think it was just, they were only back at home for, I think, max 2 weeks. And I gave them back to the family that had them, because they could provide for my kids better than I knew how. It was the hardest thing that I've ever done in my life, but I also know it was the best thing that I had ever done in my life. Because this family, they were good people, and they had money, and they could, you know, go to college without worrying about stuff, and my kids are spoiled rotten. Anyways, then I didn't have anybody to answer to. No responsibility. So I was off and running all over again, right? Because I didn't know how to take care of myself. I never had to take care of myself. And it was, I just remember, like, I moved from state to state, and I ended up homeless with my cat. And like, drugs took me to the place where I was the crackhead walking down the street talking to people that aren't there. Like, I don't know what was real, what wasn't real. I was just that far gone that, like, I don't know. I honestly don't know a lot of the stuff that happened to me, if it really happened or not. I ended up in Colorado with my cat, homeless. Called my mom to come and get me. She came and got me and took me to Idaho, and I went to Narcotics Anonymous. When I got clean, in a little town in Idaho, there was 2 NA meetings a week. That was all that there was there. So I did 2 other fellowships just to get in 5 meetings a week, right? So I got clean and did the whole thing again. I got a place, I got a car, I got a job. I did all the things, and I just couldn't get it. Like, I couldn't stay clean. And I couldn't get past 6 months. That was like my breaking point. Like, I could not get past that 6-month mark. And I was involved in service. I was doing, supposed to meet my sponsor at Area. That's a business meeting for Narcotics Anonymous. Got high on the way there, didn't show up. You know what I mean? Like, it was, well, and I have family that uses, so it was really hard for me to get away enough from everybody and everything, because, like, my brother was my dealer, right? So I actually had to cut off some of my family to be able to get and stay clean for a while. I talked to them today, but today's another story. So I went to this basement of this church, to this little NA meeting. I think there was like maybe 5 people in there, and this woman, it was July, I was freezing to death. I had a sweatshirt on in July in the desert, and she says, "Oh, you're suffering from withdrawals." And I was like, "Fuck you. You don't know who I am." Like, I've been clean for like a week. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, get out of my face. So come to find out, she had 11 years clean, and that was what I wanted, and so I asked her to be my sponsor. Because I just wanted to get and stay clean. I had been trying for years, and I just couldn't do it. So I love this woman. Like, she is my adopted mother. Like, I love her today. Still, we have a very close relationship. like I said, I couldn't get past that 6 months. I worked the steps to like 4. You know, they say 1, 2, 3, 4 smoke, or 1, 2, 3 smoke without doing 4. So my higher powers finally stepped in and said, we're going to help you out. They sent me to prison. I got busted, and I went to prison. It was for my first time ever being arrested, my first time ever being in any kind of trouble, and they sent me to prison. And it was a program that they have in Idaho. It's called the Rider Program, and it was 6 months. So I was clean when I went in, and I got past that 6-month mark while I was in there, and I've been clean ever since. Narcotics Anonymous is what I have to thank for that, and the people in it. When I got to Narcotics Anonymous, I was a sad, scared, broken little girl. Like, I had no self-esteem whatsoever. I had been abused my entire life. So for me to even look you in the eye wasn't going to happen. Like, I didn't know how to take care of myself. I didn't know how to keep a job. I didn't know how to, to be honest. Little things. Like, I just did not know how to live life. And so the women, and it's funny because almost all the women, when they get to Narcotics Anonymous, say, I hate women. Because we do. I did. I hated women. I didn't want anything to do with the women, and they told me to go hang out with the women. And but the women taught me how to be a mother to my children. They taught me how to hold down a job. They taught me how to have a relationship. I remember the first fight I got in with my sponsor. Because I actually, when I left prison, I had nowhere to go. My family was done with me. They were done. And so my sponsor let me move in with her. Don't expect that from your sponsor, but she let me move in with her. And we got into an argument over something stupid. And like, I expected her to not talk to me or have anything to do with me for like 2 weeks, because that's how I was raised. Like, if I'm pissed off at you, I'm not going to talk to you, right? And she tried to hug me after we were done arguing, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, get away from me. I did not know that it was okay to disagree with somebody and still love them. I didn't know that that was okay. I didn't know that it was okay to hug people when I got to Narcotics Anonymous, because my mom used to push me away when I tried to hug her. She told me that I was too touchy-feely and that it scared people. So I thought that there was something wrong with me. I didn't know that it was okay to hug people. I love hugging people. I give really good hugs because I didn't get them as a child. I worked all the steps with this sponsor, my first sponsor. She helped me through, and there wasn't the flat book. We didn't have the step working guide. We had just what our sponsor told us to do. So I wrote my steps out. We worked them. It was huge for me to like have her listen to me and like validate me and not judge me for the shit that I had done. And to be able to be honest with her about my life, about abusing my children, about, abusing myself, about letting other people abuse me. To be able to tell somebody all that stuff and not be judged was huge for me. She loved me through all of that. And I mean, this woman, because I actually got her as a sponsor right before I went to prison, so I wasn't clean the whole time she was my sponsor. She came to my house, took drugs out of my hands, flushed them down the toilet, and hugged me and told me that she loved me anyways. Nobody had ever done anything like that for me. Nobody had ever loved me the way that she does. And life goes on. I got a couple jobs before I finally settled at where I still work today. Because I can hold down a job today. I have good work ethic. I'm honest. That's a big thing at my employers too. I moved, so I was in Idaho, Utah. That's where I grew up, right? That's where I was going to live my whole life. I was never going to get to leave, yada, yada. I moved with my husband, my second husband, that we got married when I was clean. We moved over to Washington State. I got to be on that coast, work over there. It's beautiful over there, beautiful. Do the whole NA thing over there, right? My husband and I got divorced because life still happens. And I met another guy that lived, or he was from here. So that's how I ended up here. Him and I are married today. We have a healthy relationship. Like, we don't yell at each other. We don't call each other names. We don't cheat on each other. We don't, all the shit that I thought was normal growing up. That, like, because my mom, I think she was in her 5th marriage by the time I was 14. So, like, I was used to unhealthy. I didn't know what healthy was like. So being in Narcotics Anonymous, and, like, I get stupid ideas still today and have to call my sponsor and be like, hey, so this is what I'm thinking. She's usually like, yeah, that's not a good idea. Because I still have addict thinking. I'm an addict. I'll always be an addict. I always will have the thoughts. But today I don't have to act on them. Today I get to sit back and think about things before I do them. I have a whole spirituality today. Like, when I got here, I didn't want anything to do with God. The fact that they talked about God in the book and the readings turned me off. I had the attitude of fuck you and fuck your God. I don't want anything to do with that. So for a long time I used the group as my higher power. Because you guys can help me, and you're loving and caring and more and greater than myself, right? And if I was to come to you guys with a problem or whatever, you guys would help me find a solution for it. So I used the group as my higher power for a long time. I do not believe in religion. And this is just this is me. This is not Narcotics Anonymous. Okay, this is my story. I don't believe in religion, but I am very spiritual. And all 3 of my children are in my life today. All 3 of them. I have a grandbaby. He just turned 2. Because they all grew up, right? They all grew up and they wanted to know who their mom was, and they found me. And I'm the person that they want to know today. I'm clean and I'm a good mother to them, and they want me in their lives. And the only thing that I have to account for that is Narcotics Anonymous. And the way that I was raised in Narcotics Anonymous, because that's what it was. I was raised here, right? I was a kid when I got here. I didn't know how to be an adult. And I'm so grateful for the people in Narcotics Anonymous and the patience and the love that they give. And, like, we're a bunch of fucked up people, right? We are. At least I am. I don't know about you, but I am. And Narcotics Anonymous is the only place that I have ever felt like I completely belong. I belong here. You guys don't judge me for the shit that I've done or for the shit that's happened to me. And we're all here for the same goal. We're all trying to just stay clean another day, right? That's what we want to do. So if we can do that together, it's so much easier than doing it by yourself. Like, when I got clean, I didn't know that it wasn't that I couldn't do it by myself, but that I didn't have to. Like, I was so independent. I moved out at 16 and took care of myself from then on out. For me to have to ask somebody for help was really hard when I got here. But I have learned over the years how much easier life is with asking for help. It's so much easier, so much easier. And I am so grateful to be here, and I'm so grateful that you guys are here, because I love taking meetings into facilities because I don't want to be where you are. I don't ever want to be sitting on that side of the table ever again. And I can see the pain in your faces, and I know where you've been, like, because I've been there too. And I don't ever want to have to go back there. So thank you for reminding me that I don't ever have to, and I'm so grateful for you guys being here, because I mean, you have a chance. You have a chance. So, I think that's pretty much it. I think I'm done.
Thank you, Heather. Love you. We can open up the floor if y'all want to share on where you're at. If you have any questions, and that is recovery.
My name is Tommy. I'm alcoholic.
Hi, Tommy.
Love you, Tommy.
I really enjoyed your story. You're really resilient. I'm glad that you have your kids in your family today. Because I know that I could see like in your face, like it still tears you up. So I could only imagine what it was like back then when you were gaining your sobriety, but having that in the back of your mind, I think that takes a lot of courage, a lot of persistence. And I really, really enjoyed your story. So thank you for sharing and coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing time.
Thanks, Tommy.
Thank you.
I would also like to thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Love you.
Oh, and today's day 32 of no nicotine for me. It only took 18 years to decide to do that. But
That's it.
Yeah, one over there.
Oh, hey, I. Who's going?
I just wanted to thank y'all for coming in, because y'all do give us inspiration, and y'all give us something to look forward to, because it is hard sitting on the side of the table. But once we hear y'all stories and y'all years of sobriety, it gives us hope that one day it could possibly be us on that side of the table. So if y'all can, everything, yeah, even if it's not here, speak to someone that's in that business, because it helps. It really does. So thanks for coming out.
thanks
Thank
for
you.
being
Love
here.
you.
Hi, my name's Mia. I'm an addict.
Hey, Mia, love you.
Love y'all. Thank you for telling us about your story, because my mom was a drug addict, and I was taken from her at birth. And for years I resented her for the fact they never saw that it was the drugs, it wasn't her. And it took me years to forgive her for that. And like all my other brothers and sisters were taken away from her. And I seeing it from your side about how bad that broke you, like, 'cause I never, like, I always assumed it's what she deserved. Like, that, I hate saying that, like, because, like, you know, she wasn't there for me as a kid, like, she left me with alcoholic parents, like, it just felt like everything was, you know, thrown at me, like I was the unwanted. And about 4.5 years ago, she called me, and I didn't give her the time of day, and she ended up getting her brains blown out. And it was in Vegas. And, like, if she was here today, I would want to, like, I really, it's like, you're the mom of people. Your kids should be very proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mia. Love you. Before Alan, I'm gonna go one and then boom.
Hi, I'm Joseph. I'm an addict.
Hi, Joseph.
I was just wondering, when you say you go in and out before you got it right, do you count? Do you just restart from one each time?
Day one?
Got it.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I was
Yeah.
wondering.
Yeah.
You don't count. You don't add your
No.
any of your sobriety time. to
I'll
it?
be playing that though. Back in the day.
Okay.
I'll be like, you know, I got, 10 out of 20 days.
I had 6 months, but then I went back out. Yeah, no, it's day
Even
one.
if you don't go out, I mean, if you don't go out as long as you were out the first time or the second time, like say if you were out the first time before you got clean, you were out maybe 2 or 3 years, and then you got clean, then you went out for a month or two, and then you got clean. I mean, it doesn't matter to you? Okay.
Now, I will throw this in there in my experience, right? So, step 12 says having had a spiritual awakening as a result
Yes.
of these steps, right? So thank you. I don't know why. Like, they're dying. They are dying. They're dying. The trauma, they're dying. They're dying, right? We die from this disease. They pay for us to come up in here. We come back up in here, right? There's like a billion different avenues, just different names. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we are dying. And so I don't know why I got to work the steps. They told me I'm not even in recovery till I share step 4, till I do a step 5. So I'll be coming up in here all the time, be like, I relapsed, and then someone was like, actually, dog, you got to work the steps, you know? Because in my experience, all of those things that are shared, that trauma, it doesn't go away, right? It doesn't go away. And as soon as, if I'm going to make that choice to go back out again, that forgiveness I have, down the drain. Like, it's there, at least for me, for my disease, you know? So, but that's if you want to believe it's a disease. You know what I mean?
Thanks,
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you had some really low lows, you know, and I know prison ultimately was, you didn't pick up after prison.
Right.
So, but I was wondering, you know, at your lowest of lows, when you're feeling, because I know for me, you know, I'm not getting any younger. I used to be, had the family, I had the job, I had the house, and my 2 kids, I raised them. And, you know, a lot of times I feel like a joke to my kids, you know, and they're now 19 and 16. And just getting over that, it's hard, you know, because I know they see their peers' parents that can do a whole lot more for them and stuff. And I feel really guilty about it. And so you might be able to relate some of that, I don't know, you know. But what do you think you leaned on with the hopelessness and all that?
So when because I didn't grieve losing my children. I didn't grieve that when I was using, right? Because I stuffed all that down.
Yeah.
So when I got clean, I couldn't even mention them without just crying. It took years for me to even be able to have a conversation about my children. And they were not involved in my life because I screwed all that up, right? It was supposed to be an open adoption, but I was using drugs and they were protecting my children, which is what I wanted them to do, right? So not necessarily for me, but it's what I gave them to them for, was to take care of them. And so it was trying to, like, I have animals. That is what I do. I work at PetSmart. I have 2 dogs, a cat, a bunch of reptiles. Like, that is what I have done to fill that void. My kids are all in different states, so they're not around where I'm at. And it's just, I still have that nurturing, motherly, want to take care of something, right? So I have these pets that I do that with. And that's probably been my biggest savior, is having them, because there have been times, I mean, I'm still a drug addict. There have been times when I've been super depressed and not wanting to get out of bed, but my dog needs to eat, right?
Yeah.
So I got to get up and feed the dog.
Yeah. Are you still in contact with your kids?
With my kids?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes. My oldest is 30. I have a 30-year-old, a 24-year-old, and a 22-year-old. And they're all boys. And they are all, my oldest is very, very religious. I'm from Utah, guys. So I was raised Mormon. I am not a Mormon. A lot of my family still is, including my eldest child. He's very, very religious. But him and I can talk about that stuff, and we are so close. Like, we can talk about things that I didn't know that we could disagree on. Hi. We could disagree on religious whatever, right? And we have respect for each other and respect for each other's beliefs. And so, you know, it's really neat to be a part of their lives today. And the only reason I am, like I said, is because I'm clean. Because if I wasn't clean, they wouldn't want anything to do with me.
Right.
I'm a piggyback on what she said in her sharing with hopelessness, right? Because, like, I mean, I can remember before I finally got up in here, like, look, you know, I smoked crack with my mom and dad. There was methadone in the fridge, right? My sister was murdered. 3 months later, my mother was murdered. What brought me back into here was weed. So go on back out there. I'm just saying, right? Go, you know, because I'm an addict. Like, I didn't want to go to sleep. I had to be so fucked up to go to sleep, and I was scared to wake up. I was so hopeless, right? But then let's look at who I am and where I am. I was 35. I'm a white dude in America. I was married, right? So I had a little bit of different hope, right? It's not like I had 3 kids coming up in here, right? Like, damn, here we go again. Or as you're feeling like, man, I've lost my family. But when I come into the fellowship and then I realize, like, wait a second, I'm not alone. And it says like, lost dreams will awaken. Like, I had no idea. Like, you know, and whatever religion, but God doesn't take us to be here to get clean to do bullshit unless you go back out and do bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, if you really put an effort in, like, I mean, blown away at the gifts. And, you know, it's like, well, okay, so we're old. I mean, look, what I realize is that I actually got young. You're young, and that's young in recovery, right? I feel like most dudes in recovery, probably 45. They're like, that's it, I'm a, you know? Like, I kept coming in, I was 25, I'm like, I'm too young, too white, nobody used like me. That's not true, you know? And so it's like, I feel like it probably is an older, you know? And you have no idea really what, at least that's what I found out. Like, I had no idea the gifts if I just made it to a meeting every day. They said, get on your knees. And I was on that religion kick too. Like, me too. Like, I remember going to all these different churches and I thought Jesus was white. Because if you go to some churches, I mean, he, you know, the picture of Jesus, you know, so I was a little pissed. I didn't understand. I mean, I was 18. I was a gospel disc jockey in Baltimore City on a methadone program, smoking crack, and I just couldn't get it, right? Like, a mess of life. And then I come in here and I'm finally like, okay, I can't quit using. All right, I guess I'll get on my knees and pray. And I did. But it's not like, you know, I don't know. Like, I really had to do, like, I know when she was sharing, it was like, but what did we do each day? Like, I swear to y'all, the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning, you already know what I'm going to say. I have to hit my knees because I do. And it's like, great, thank you. You know, and then I admit, I'm like, thank you. I am an addict in recovery. You know, my life is unmanageable. You know, please help me. And then I started memorizing all these prayers, just these mantras, right? And then the whole time I got all this shit in my head. You know, you're not good enough, you blah, 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 you do. You know what's really going on. But I just go through the motions, you know. And then they were like, well, get numbers. I got numbers, you know. Had to get the sponsor and then work the steps. Now, she brought up that step working guide. Like, that probably has killed addicts. That step working guide is ridiculous. I mean, it took me 3 years. 3 years to go through it and write it all. And now I get to be I'm a DR with a dot, you know, at academia. Like, I write. That's what and that is, I mean, it is thorough, but that doesn't mean you can work at basic text. Like, there's other methods, you know, with your sponsor. But it's like, I had to really take those suggestions and just had to change everything. Like, I still don't drive down Pythian. And it's been almost 7 years because I know, well, she's got those I don't know. I didn't even listen to the radio. Well, you know what station I listen to. You know, K-Love. I listened to K-Love. Like, I was really nonstop, even driving in the car. If I wasn't listening to K-Love, the Narcotics Anonymous app. Like, I'm a real addict. And so it was like, damn, I better just try to fuel up on this recovery, you know, and go as hard as I can, because there's no way that I have another recovery in me. Like, I can't even surrender to fucking other stuff. Because, like, we get clean, and she said she's still an addict. Me too. Like, and I got to surrender just as hard. Like, if there's a sex addiction, And like, you got to surrender just as hard on that as we do when we surrender on the drugs. And I can barely do that. I can just stay clean. And I guess that's good enough, you know, for me anyway. I ramble. Sorry.
Good shit.
Yes. Hi,
Hi,
Michael.
So both of you mentioned higher power. I'm not sure of her name, but it was your share about the higher power that got I'm not sure what mine is, and it's always the question of, is there some spirituality that will help you? You know, they do their assessments and they ask us, are we religious? Are we spiritual? And I say no. I think about it though, and I think that prayer itself, just as an action, is really starting to take hold in me for the first time ever, really. And I have to thank my mom for that, because my mom has several times said to me, and see, my mom is a very smart woman. I mean, my mom is a retired physician. My mom did not spend her days in church and then at home, but she is now that one who is at church because she has the time and she's praying constantly. And she says, you know, Michael, the word tells us, God tells us to ask specifically for what we want in our prayers, to be bold and to ask in our prayers, you know, with the authority that it will be answered and its force. And so she says, and this is what I pray for you, and this is what I pray for you, and this is what I pray for you, and then I'll go on the phone with her sometimes and I'll be like, Mom, this happened, I did this happened. She'd be like, I prayed for you. Yeah. You know? And at first I'll be like, oh, okay, thanks, Mom, you know, just kind of pushing it aside because I'm not really believing, but it is comforting. I'm at that space where it's comforting and it can take root in my heart. If I can't ask for it, she can ask for it until I'm able to ask for it. And that's where I am with that. I just wanted to share. Someone shared last night about higher power too, and I've just been thinking about that.
Yeah.
And like,
How you know, no,
I'm
piggyback.
selfish and
Yeah,
self-centered. I'm selfish and self-centered, and I don't give her tenths, 100th of the love and gratitude that I should give her for just still keeping a phone call from me. You know, so that's all I have to share. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks
Michael.
for
Love
sharing. So, my name's Heather. I'm an addict. One of my very favorite things about Narcotics Anonymous is that it is a spiritual, not religious program.
Yes.
Right? Nobody can tell me that what I believe in is wrong. It's taken years and a lot of different experimenting with things and a lot of different changing my mind about it, and I still don't know what to call my higher powers. I have more than one, but I don't know what to call them because it changes. Like, I just recently read a book that changed my life, like opened my eyes, spiritual, whatever. But I believe that religion is made by man to control man. Religion is for those who are scared of hell. Spirituality is for those of us that have been there. Right? So, I absolutely love this program because everybody has different beliefs and we're all okay with it as long as you believe. We don't care what you believe as long as you believe. And if you don't believe that I believe until you do. You know, for praying for me, it was the Serenity Prayer over and over and over just in my head just to get my mind on something other than the drugs in the beginning. Like, I used to just recite the Serenity Prayer over and over and over and over and over. And I still do sometimes. But, you know, I'm more of like the hippie like crystals and affirmations and like all these things, you know, that I'm like, and this has just been in the last couple of years that I have evolved into this, because it's grown and evolved throughout my recovery. And it doesn't matter what you believe in, just as long as you believe.
She's a gypsy.
Yeah.
Well, all that traveling. And look, that's how I do step 3. We made
Yeah.
a decision to turn our will over to the God, right, of our understanding. Here's how I do step 3. I don't want to put it in a box, so I just go and do step 1 and step 2. So it's like, oh, step 3, oh, wait a second, I'm an addict.
Right.
I'm powerless over my disease of addiction, and then I'm going to come to Narcotics Anonymous to be restored. Like she said in her share, she believed in the principles, right? Like all the different principles, really, is kind of what I believe, so.
My name is Javon. I'm an addict.
Hey, Javon.
I never really believed in addiction, right? When my baby mother, she started doing crack, and I used to tell her like, man, like you're a crackhead, cuz like get away from me, like, you know, pushing her away and shit like that. And then I started doing fentanyl. When I started doing fentanyl, like, I'm a big image person. Like I like my image to be up or whatever the case may be. And then I started doing fentanyl and I started dozing off and shit like that. Dozing off in public, shit like that. And then people started calling me out on it. Like, Javon, like, look, Jay, you dozing off, cuz, like, you need to get off the drugs, you need to get off the drugs. And I used to be like, cuz, like, it ain't the drugs, like, you feel me, it ain't the drugs, I'm not on no drugs. You know, I used to tell people, like, I'm not on drugs. My mama and shit like that, like, my mama always call me out. She used to be like, Javon, like, you know, like, you ain't talk to me in a minute, like, Javon on the drugs, like, Javon on the drugs, like, my whole family, until it got to the point where, like, my family was like, you know, I don't want nothing to do with you or whatever the case may be. But, you know, my mama always loved me from a distance. My mama would never turn her back on me or whatever. And then I lost my daughter as you lost your kid. You feel me? I lost my daughter. And, but I didn't lose my daughter to the state. I lost my daughter to my mom. And, you feel me? It crushed me because whenever I had to go see my mom, I had to go see my daughter. And then my daughter always asked me questions like, Daddy, why I can't come with you? Or like, Daddy, like, you feel me? I miss you or whatever. And I, you know, I like, it's hard to talk to your child when you around, like you in the same city as your child, but you can't take your child with you. You know, like, so I used to, it got to the point where, you feel me, I felt like, all right, I needed help, but I never believed in rehab. I kind of still, I guess, didn't believe or don't believe in rehab, whatever the case may be. But I went to rehab, and then I felt like, all right, I'm clean. Like, I'm good, whatever the case may be. And I hit the streets. And when I hit the streets, I went back to the fitness. You feel me? It started with weed, you know. What they say, one drug is 2 million, 1,000 is nothing. You know? Tried the weed thing, started smoking weed. And I remember, like, damn, this weed not even strong as the fentanyl. So then I went back to perks, went back to fentanyl, and I started dozing off again, started, you know, doing all the dumb ass shit. Then I became homeless. And then not only was I homeless, but I brought my wife into homelessness with me. You feel me? Because my wife, she never really did hard drugs. And then my wife, she wanted to do what I wanted to do. So she started doing fentanyl, and she caught an addiction. And then I always felt like, you know, I can stop the shit. You know, like you told yourself, like, you know, I can stop whenever I want. I just don't want to stop. And then it came to a point where I was just Instacarting and DoorDashing for the drugs. It never was about me, it never was about my wife, it never was about my family, it was just about the drugs. You know, so then I thought to myself, like, damn, I'm an addict, like, you know, I got an addiction. So I paid dirty for my PO, and my PO was like, look, either I'm gonna violate you or you're gonna go back to rehab. So then I went to rehab, and then I don't remember who it was, but then I heard like the first Narcotics Anonymous person that I ever heard, and then, you know, like, I didn't hear my story, but I heard a story stronger than my story. You know, because I always thought, like, while I was going through the homelessness shit, like, it can't get no worse than this.
Yeah.
But then you hear other people's stories. And then not even just Narcotics Anonymous. Like, I done heard people's stories in here. And you feel me? It's way worse than my story. You know, but it just got to the point where I just didn't want to do drugs no more. So then, you know, I told my wife, like, look, I don't want to do drugs no more, or whatever the case may be. And my wife wasn't ready to stop doing drugs. You feel me? And I couldn't blame her because I brought her into the life. You know, so then I told my wife, like, look, we'll go to rehab together whenever you're ready. So I kept doing drugs. And then whenever she was ready, she ended up telling me she was ready, and then we went to rehab. I say that to say, you feel me, goddamn, I don't know, I guess I say that to say I'm an addict. You feel me?
Amen.
You feel me? I'm an addict, like, and you feel me, I don't want to be an addict no more,
Yeah.
you know, and Narcotics Anonymous, like, I don't know, kind of like the more I hear y'all speak, or the more y'all come in here, and the more I hear y'all, like, y'all stories, I feel like shit, well, like, if I go home on the streets, you know, even if I don't believe in the rehab, I can believe in NA. You know, and that's all I got to say.
Thanks for sharing.
I was gonna ask a question too. And look, it's okay to be an addict. It's like winning the lottery, you know, like it is. It's like winning the lottery. You know what I'm saying? For me. But, and I say this like for your, you know, if you win the lottery, then your whole family, like generations, get rich, right? Because you stay clean. How many of y'all are, when you get out of here, have to go back to family members or someone that is still using? I mean, you shared about that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I just put that out there. Like, people, places, and things is what they tell us, and it's hard. That's hard to stop when you go home to the ones you love. You know, it's hard. All right. Does anybody have a burning desire? Does anybody believe or think that they have to use drugs? Because Heather did say it's a thinking disease. Like, I didn't know that till I came in. Like,
Right.
wait a second. Wait, my brain is telling me that I have to use drugs? Who told me I feel this way? Anybody? All right. Fuck yeah. I'm telling you, I swear, me too. Me too. I'll share the story all the time. Like, this was like last year, there was snow, right? And I go to ODU, and they had salted everything, so it was just a nasty parking lot. And I'm walking, and I'm like, oh, there's a nice half a blunt. And my first thought was, I'm going to take it home and put it in the oven. You know, and I got, you know, I have time. I got time. So, all my dreams. That's another thing with grief, you know, and getting through grief. My disease hits me at night. I be having some crazy weird dreams where I'm like cussing and punching. Usually it's like the people that were involved with my mom and all that using when I was younger. So it's like the disease is always there. They say it doesn't go away. They say it progresses and it recovers right along with us. You know, I can remember getting high when I was younger, and my disease said that I'd be sharing here in Narcotics Anonymous. So you just keep getting high, you know? So thanks for letting me share that. All right. What about just for today?
Just for today. Say yourself, just for today. My thoughts will be on my recovery, living and enjoying life without use of drugs. The use of drugs. Just for today. I will have faith in someone in NA who believes in me and wants to help me with my recovery. Just for today, I will have a program. I will try to follow it to the best of my ability. Just for today, through NA, I will try to get a better perspective on life. Just for today, I will be unafraid. My thoughts will be on my new associations, people who are not using and who have found a new way of life. So long as I follow that way, I have nothing to fear.
Did you want to say anything else to your people? All right. And we can shut it down with, well, wait, we got key tags. I don't think, I'm pretty sure I'm not here next week. I think, yes. I'm glad y'all are happy that I'm not here next week. White key tag? Anybody want to surrender the high cost of low living? White? Congratulations. Anybody else?
Hey, girl.
Yeah.
All right. Congratulations. Love you. Anybody on 30?
Working on it.
Yeah.
What's that? Tell me, where am I? You gonna wait or?
Blue, green, orange.
30
30?
days?
Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I got you. No, I gotta keep it secret.
All right. Do we want to close with a prayer?
We only keep what we have by giving.
We're gonna let Heather close us out.
Let's have a moment of silence for the addict who still suffers inside and outside of these rooms. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Just for today.
Keep coming back.
Worse when you want everything.
Right.